The accidental discovery. Imagine mixing three ordinary ingredients together, not to build a weapon, but to try to live forever. That mistake would eventually change the course of human history and end up in the hands of nearly every army on Earth. In 9th century China, alchemists weren't trying to invent a weapon at all. They were searching for something else entirely: an elixir of immortality. While experimenting with charcoal, sulfur, and a mineral called saltpeter, they created something that didn't grant eternal life. It exploded. They called it Huoyao, fire chemical. At first, it was used for fireworks, celebrations, signals, even medicine, in small doses. Nobody set out to build a weapon. But once people saw what fire chemical could do, it was only a matter of time. Because anything that powerful doesn't stay a toy for long. So how did a mixture built to search for eternal life end up being packed into a tube and pointed at another human being? The answer starts with a spear. From fire lance to hand cannon. Around the 11th century, Chinese soldiers attached a bamboo tube filled with gunpowder to the end of a spear. They called it the fire lance. When lit, it didn't fire a bullet. It shot a burst of flame directly at the enemy. Soon, soldiers began adding something extra inside the tube: broken pottery, iron pellets, scrap metal. The fire lance wasn't just burning enemies anymore. It was launching shrapnel at them. By the late 1200s, that bamboo tube had been replaced with metal. Archaeologists have discovered a bronze hand cannon, dated to as early as 1288. This wasn't a spear with fire attached anymore. This was a true gun. Pack gunpowder into a metal tube. Add a projectile. Light the fuse. The hand cannon could now fire something solid, with enough force to kill from a distance. For the first time in human history, a person could end a life without ever touching a blade. Without ever getting close enough to see their opponent's face. Warfare had just changed forever. The weapon spreads across the world. Gunpowder didn't stay in China for long. Along the Silk Road, through trade routes stretching thousands of miles, the knowledge spread west. By the 1300s, gunpowder weapons had reached the Middle East. And soon after, Europe. European blacksmiths took the hand cannon and kept improving it. By the late 1400s, a new weapon appeared: the arquebus. It used a matchlock mechanism, a smoldering cord that ignited the gunpowder automatically, so soldiers no longer needed to hold a flame to the barrel by hand. Then came the wheellock. Then the flintlock. Each version faster, safer, and more reliable than the last. Guns that once took an enormous amount of skill to fire were slowly becoming something almost anyone could use. And that changed everything about how wars were fought. A peasant with a few weeks of training and a musket could now defeat a knight who had spent his entire life training with a sword. Armor, which had protected soldiers for centuries, was becoming useless. The age of the sword and shield was ending. The age of gunpowder had begun. The legacy that changed everything from that point forward: the pace of innovation never slowed. The percussion cap made guns far more reliable in wet weather. The revolver allowed a person to fire multiple shots, without reloading after every single one. Then the Industrial Revolution arrived. Factories could now produce interchangeable parts, identical pieces, built by machines instead of individual blacksmiths. Guns that once took a skilled craftsman weeks to build by hand could now be mass-produced by the thousands. By the late 1800s, the machine gun appeared. A single weapon, capable of firing hundreds of rounds per minute. What began as a search for eternal life had evolved into one of the most powerful and consequential inventions in human history. From a mistake made by alchemists chasing immortality, to a weapon carried by nearly every modern army on Earth, the gun's story is really the story of how quickly one discovery can reshape the world. So the next time you hear the phrase gunpowder, remember where it actually came from. Not a battlefield. Not a general. But a group of alchemists, trying to live forever. If you enjoyed this journey into human history, don't forget to subscribe for more videos exploring the mysteries of human evolution, survival, and history. And here's a question for you: do you think this invention made the world more dangerous, or helped shape the world we live in today? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next adventure.